Well, hello and welcome. I just moved a couple things around in the studio, so I'm hoping that I haven't made any big mistakes. Been playing with mic placements a little bit, so they're in slightly different spots. I'm hoping it'll give a nicer balance between the left and the right. But, you know, as always, it's an experiment, so we'll give it a go. Today I'm going to be painting a mountainside scene with a couple of cabins along a river with a bunch of snow. I've really been enjoying painting these snow scenes lately, so this will be another one of those. I'm going to keep it kind of impressionist and loose, and yeah, I'm excited about the pattern of the trees and the shadows. And I haven't done any cabins, I guess, along the river, so this will be the first one with that. Yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it, and yeah, I guess I'll just get into it and explain what I'm doing as I go. So, I think for this one I'm going to start out, I'm going to do like a light purple tone, I think, over the whole canvas, and then work into it with a knife and wax pretty quickly. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to mix up my purple to start. For my purple, I'm going to use some phthalo blue, some alizarin crimson, and I'm just going to mix this off to the side for a second to see if the purple is about the tone I want before I start mixing this in with some white, because it's actually probably not going to take very much. That's pretty good though. Okay. Get a little bit of white out. I may end up needing more of that, but I don't want it to get too messy, so probably not working off of too big a pile of white isn't a bad idea. Let's start by just mixing this cool purple. It's a pretty good tone. Looks nice and cold. Just put a little bit of my citrus solvent in with that. Just a little darker. I think I'm gonna need a little bit more, so I'm actually adding a little bit more white too. And a little more solvent. I always seem to make just enough of this, so whatever amount it is ends up being right somehow. And I'm just mixing it just to get it to the point where there's no bumps. If I leave any lumps in it, then when I start to brush it on, it'll get more likely to get streaks of different colors, which for this layer isn't what I wanted. Sometimes it is. There we go. Pretty nice consistency too. I think that's gonna work well. Okay. So, grab this brush, a little bit of solvent. This isn't quite as dark as the actual shadow color that I'm seeing here, but it's in the neighborhood. I think the shadows are a little bit more blue and a little bit darker, but I think this will kind of be a good medium shadow color. And because this doesn't have any oil in it, this won't stay wet too long. It'll just stay wet long enough while I work a couple of initial colors onto it. Mostly the solvent's just letting it go on nice and thin and spread evenly. Just kind of scrub it on in any which direction. Doesn't really matter at this point. Bristles out. That looks like a pretty nice place to start from. Looks wintry already. This is an interesting image in that there's no sky in it, which is a bit rare for me. I like skies normally, but I've got such a big mountain here that it's just blocking out the entire sky. A bunch of trees, some great shadows. I think this is going to have some really pretty patterns in it. This tree pattern behind the cabins, I think is going to look pretty cool. I hope. So let's start with that. Just gonna wash out my brush. The little springy brush cleaner. Out pretty well. So I'm going to start just putting in some of these dark shapes here. I think for that, use a big knife actually. I'm going to use a little bit of raw umber and phthalo to make a really dark. I have to clean that spot out. Put some new paint there. Pick this knife because it has a nice long edge. I think for a lot of these tree sticks back here, yeah, that's gonna work out well. I'm just gonna start putting these in, kind of filling in the whole hillside. Just gonna come all the way to about there. Some of these start up higher on the hill. So I don't need to go all the way down here. And they're going to get more blocked out by the ones below, so I'm actually starting furthest back, even though it's almost like looking against a wall because this hillside's so steep. That's okay. Yeah, that kind of gives the tree a little bit of thickness. It's almost like making a really skinny triangle. Sometimes I don't really know how these different marks are going to work together until I start doing them. I wasn't quite sure I was going to figure that out. I like that little triangle move. Once you paint a lot, you start looking at everything. It's like, how would I mix this color, or how would I make that shape? It's a little bit, I don't know, I've joked before that I get kind of haunted by trees sometimes because I find them, I don't know, strangely challenging. They're everywhere, but they can be tricky to paint. this looks crazy, but I think it's gonna work. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is mix a little bit of this sort of a more blue-gray tone. I'm gonna grab some more white for it as well. I'm gonna make a sort of background shadow color. I'm gonna actually bring a little bit of this purple in too. Bring it a little closer to the background color that we mixed. Alright. And I'm gonna start just moving in some of these places where I see the shape of the hill getting defined by the shadows. I'm gonna start popping that in. It's really about, like, at this point, I feel like it's just about creating kind of shapes and patterns that'll, you know, if I painted every tree in detail, we'd be here all day, and I don't think it would even look as good. So I'm just kind of doing a little this and that, and just creating the shape of this hillside. There's more to do, but some of this here. Kind of squinting. Seeing different places where different colors overlap. As I get closer, these colors are going to get warmer, and I might entirely not do any of the warm tones on this till tomorrow. Right now, just concentrate on getting the right cool tones in the right place. And if you do that, it actually will keep all the colors brighter. Because, for instance, if I put in some sienna or some orange here, it's gonna mix with the blue. It's just gonna turn into like a muddy brown, not like a pretty brown. And all the colors will just sort of get mixed together. But if I give them a little bit of time, they'll stay a lot fresher. Yeah. Okay. So I've got that. I'm gonna start bringing some of these darks in the foreground too. I'm gonna make my way to the cabins last on this, I think, just because of their placement. Some of these foreground details and just sort of quick sketch. Like a little stump. And there's this section of snow here. Just kind of cropping out into this little waterway. There we go. This umber here. Okay. And here we've got just a little bit of reflection going on. Yeah, I'm mostly focusing on getting the right dark tones in here, just cruising around, not worrying too much about anything. Let me see, gesture for this hill here. Looking pretty good, okay. Keep working on this blue shadow too. I'm also trying to keep the paint somewhat on the thin side right now. I don't really want to create a lot of texture yet. Kind of like to get things established. If I have to move anything, then having really thick paint to work around or over is more of a problem. So early, kind of just scrubbing it in. Works out pretty well. Goes for this edge too. Let it be a little thick here because I've got a very dark edge. I always love how you get this really great contrast with snow and then like water that's not frozen. They're like small bodies of water that are very mucky. They'll be really dark. Just reflect like a mirror almost. Okay. Get a little bit more of this blue, gray. I'm working with a lot of white in this one fairly early. I just think because it kind of blends a little bit nicer that way. This kind of line of shadows coming across here. I'm going to end up refining it a bit more. It has a lot of streaks. I think there's just more trees over here and all those long shadows are coming across, but right now I can kind of treat them somewhat like one area. Okay. Trying to. Looks a little bit strange right now because I'm still trying to avoid doing those warm tones yet. I think I'm gonna start placing the cabins at least. I'm gonna put a little bit more shadow up at this upper area here. And maybe even go back and do some more darks. The thing about working with a knife is, you can mix anything you want. Brush won't do this for you. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder. This knife isn't as flat as it could be. I think it looks like a little too regular. So now that I got that blue in there, I actually want to go back and re-emphasize some of these truths that I felt like got lost here and there. I like that. I like that little triangle move. It kind of makes a little stump almost, or it makes the tree thicker toward the bottom. Yeah, it seems kind of like a funny path to do this, but I really feel like going back and forth between doing these like verticals and horizontals is letting it get a little bit messy. It sort of starts to bring the depth in. That's a pretty good start with those. Let's put some cabins in. Okay. So this one about here. I'm gonna take a little bit of burnt sienna in this, but I've also not put a lot of blue down before, so it shouldn't be too bad. Okay. Figuring out right where it's nestled in with some of these trees and right in front of it. So let's try that. And make this old sort of wood texture on it, at least the start of it. All right, so this wall is made up of like old boards. And this other side looks like it's might be painted white or something. It's still kind of a light, more of a tan color. There we go. Sneak this in right behind the trees here. Might even repaint the trees after, but start like this. I'm just using this white to outline. I'm gonna put white snow on the roof here, but for now I don't need that. Just need to get my cabin in place. So I'll probably just fix those trees after. But I think it was better to get the dark tone in first. I can kind of just fix it up like that. Okay. I've got a shadow next to it. Here. And also a shadow coming from these trees. And I've got another one a little bit further back. And see, that one's a little bit lighter in color overall. Maybe even a little bit redder. I'm going to throw a little bit of alizarin in that. And because it's a little bit further back, it will be a little lower, Or a little higher on the page, I guess. On this side, a lot more shadow. And the side of this one is actually almost a purple, so just grab that purple that I mixed up before. Pop in the side of the cabin. Now this, this looks crazy right now, but I think sometimes you just have to keep in mind that as you're working on something like this, you put down a color, you see it, you just make it, and you can fix it later if it turns out to be wrong, but sometimes it's just like put it in what you see, and a lot of times you fix the other colors around it and get those in, and then the whole thing makes sense. So don't worry about colors looking crazy early on. A little bit of snow there. A little bit more shadow on this side. I've got a bit of a hillside coming up here. Blocking the edge of this where I see it. And let's start putting in some of these dark background tones. I don't really need to make the roof fully white, since it isn't, and it's a little bit early for that. But if I work in some of the dark tones around it, it'll start to stand out. Looks pretty good. I'll do the same on the other side too. Okay, that's coming along. Just gonna put in some of these sort of shadow shapes that I'm seeing. I'm just dragging across here. I messed up the roof of my cabin a little bit, but actually it's getting blocked by some trees. It's pretty hard to see the whole roof on this guy. Just keep moving. Not worry about it. There we go. Okay. Let's see. I think that's coming along. I really like this light area, and I like how the cabins are sort of tucked into the hill. It just gives you the sense of a really quiet place. A little bit quite far away, maybe, depending where you are. Let's see. So that's feeling pretty good to me. I've got some different shapes in here. Keep working on these sort of tree texture. Now that I have the cabins in place, I can be a little bit more specific with them. Start putting a little shadowy snow on the side of this roof. Looking pretty good. Do the same over here. A little bit darker. I'll put some lighter snow on there too, but I'll just leave that in for the shadow. Okay. It's gonna be a pretty little slope. I'll just put in a few of these sort of warm tones just to kind of see how it starts to look. Yeah, seems like it's not mixing in too bad. I think I'll still mostly wait. I think this is going to be really nice once I get just a little bit more variety of these colors. Okay. I keep focusing on just laying in some of these hills. Okay. Yeah, the snow, when I really start putting in the weight, it's gonna light this all up. Just trying to make sure I get kind of enough detail in before I start that. Got some rocks over here. Some grass texture. there's a little bit more sort of grass. Little details kind of popping up out of this little stream. All right. I think I'm going to actually let this sit for a bit. I think that it will benefit from a little dry time, and then I want to come back in with some wax and really make everything pop. But yeah, I'm excited so far. I know it's like right this minute it looks a little crazy, but I think it's going to really come together in the next half. So, be right back. All right, and I'm back. Yeah, like how this is going, I'm going to go in with some wax and some light colors and some warm colors. Just kind of keep building it up. Yeah, little of this, little of that. It's pretty well set up. It's not very wet at all now. Maybe in some of the thickest spots, but it's pretty dry to the touch anyway. Let me get some wax out. And again, since I get asked about this quite a bit, this is Gamblin Cold Wax Medium. It's specifically for oil paint, but it does give it a different feel where it's less streaky, and just kind of goes on nice and thick. And I like it for light areas and just kind of making things a bit thick and luminous, I guess. Maybe this is a good knife for scooping some wax out. Pop that over there. Okay. Yeah. So I've got my little round knife here. I think that will give it a nice soft look for the snow. Yeah, I'm gonna start layering in some other tones for the trees too. But let's see. So I think for that, I'm gonna mix up a little bit of burnt sienna with some white. Those really warm tones will kind of give you the effect of where the sun's hitting these trees, which is mostly in this sort of lower area here. I think that one's very strong, so I'm gonna do kind of a variation of that too. Or mix in just the tiniest bit of phthalo. It's probably too much. I'll mix a little white with that first. And then just mix a little bit of that white and blue together here. So I don't completely overpower it. That looks pretty good. And then the other one I want to have, well, I don't want to go too cool with this, so I'm gonna leave it about like that. Yeah, let's start there. So I'm gonna mix a bit of wax with that as well. start just putting a little bit of these sort of lighter tones, some of these closer trees. I don't think I'm going to do too much with these right now, but I just want to start seeing these values. Maybe like another one right here. Got a lot of nice texture to work on top of now. Wax really lets you sort of sculpt your shapes and your colors. Look at that. Let's see. Start bringing in some of this other light area here, which is going to be a little bit more blue and snowy. Grab some of that. I'm not going to go all the way to white yet. I'm going to bring a good amount of it in. Because of that purple, we have all this range to really start working in a lot of different snow tones. It really starts to light up now. Notice that as I come over here, I'm getting a little bit warmer. That make kind of a lighter version. Maybe even mix a tiny bit of yellow in. All these little subtle shifts. It's really what makes the snow look like snow. coming along. Let's see. A little more of this yellow or blue. There we go. Bring in a bit more of this light here. Really supposed to give the effect of all this drift. Okay. Go a little bit more blue. This little hillside here. At least where it's a little bit further back. That really light edge right there. The closest part where the sun's hitting it just a little bit more. Just kind of drifted up above these rocks. That's pretty good. Try and create the shape of these rocks. They're not all the same either. A little bit blue right here. This little shadow. It's really a fun way to paint. With knives and wax and oil. And a whole bunch of snow. I don't want to cover up too much of this dark here. Got a little bit of grass that I'm gonna, let's see, actually, let's start kind of poke that through because I put that dark layer in to start. There we go. Okay. I've got some nice light area here too. switch to a longer knife in a second. Let's pop it in a couple more light spots before I switch knives a bit. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this snow in here where I see it kind of drifting out of the hills. There we go. I think here's going to be perfect. It's not what I'm going for. That's starting to give the effect of the light, like it getting sort of filtered through the trees a little bit. Finding some spots here. Kind of just hitting these little high spots there too, where the dark is, letting the light stay down in between. Okay, that a little bit more. That sort of snowy white up at the very top here. There's not as much trees in this area. I like that effect. I'm gonna keep going with that a little bit. bit. Alright, I wanted to do a little bit more with this sort of streaky, shadowy snow here. So for that, I've got a couple of areas that kind of drift. Want these little stripes to be a little bit more sort of wiggly. They're kind of straight, but they're not perfectly straight. They're not really lines. Just sort of stretched out tree shadows. Little crop of trees over here. Haven't added them yet. Casting that. That's working. Okay. I'll leave that kind of as it is for right now. I'm going to probably come back in and try to bring that a little bit darker, but for now, I'm just going to go back to my sunlight and my shadows. Okay. This area here, going to make it even darker blue with some wax. It looks very cold over here. Some complicated shadows. trying to simplify it for the purpose of painting, though. It's pretty amazing what your mind can do, though, if you give it the right amount of information. It will fill in the rest. Kind of settling this out a little bit. It's a little too much. All right. Like this kind of streaky way that the snow pulls across. It kind of gives you, I think it gives the effect of the shadows without them being so overly distracting. Sometimes when the paint gets too thick, it just takes you away from your focus. I'm going to do a little bit more with this water. Got some highlights to get in here. Putting in kind of a low reflection for the edge of this. Area. There's a lot of little details going on right here, but really not likely to be able to get them all in. Just gonna put some of these grasses in. Try and create the texture. I may end up coming back for a third pass on this one. I think there might be one that benefits from that. This way of using this shadow to kind of create these grasses. Okay. All right. I had a short break I wasn't quite planning on, but nothing too bad. So it's gonna take a minute and get kind of reoriented. Like this setting up a little bit, which actually might have been perfect. Let's see, like to try scraping a little bit this way. Let's see. Bring just a little bit more. Oh, I like that a lot. Okay. Just kind of makes it a little bit less raggedy in a way. Alright, so what to do? So I've got some grass down here that I'm planning to want to kind of grab this texture and draw that in. That'll be kind of a straw color, I guess. Yellow, but not very bright. Do that across here a little bit. Want to work on my cabins a little bit. They could use a little bit more detail. And then yeah, probably go back and just refine the trees a little bit. I think that on the whole, I'm liking a lot of this snow texture back here. I think I can do a little bit more with it even. I'm gonna go a little bit darker, a little bit grayer. Maybe. Just kind of grab this texture a little bit more. Is it a little crazy? Yes. Is it probably going to work out? Probably. That's why I say they're not lessons, they're experiments, you know? I think it's awesome when people say that they learn stuff from these videos, though. But really, I'm just mostly having fun. It's just all about these like overlapping vertical and horizontal shapes for this whole forest area. Okay. Let's see what I can do about these trees. This little knife has a bunch of sort of open slots on it. It's actually kind of nice for creating more of this vertical. Horizontal textures. It does have a very flat edge though, so I don't want a line to kind of show up here, then be a little bit careful about kind of where I start and stop this. Here's the one I was looking for. I think this might work really well in some of these treed areas. I'm gonna take this burnt sienna here. And mix that with a little bit of wax, a little bit of blue, just to get it a little bit darker. It's probably a little overdone now. Oh, that's nice. And then I can kind of just go across all these little trees here. Kind of create a look of like branches or and a little bit of wax to this too. A little bit of orange even. Maybe there's some leaves that didn't actually fall down. Get some of this orange in here, and then I'm going to go over it with a little bit lighter color. Maybe a little bit of this. I like how this is like such a feathery look. It really works well for these trees that have, I think they look like they just have like very small sort of twigs on the ends.
Maybe even a little phthalo, or not phthalo, maybe a little bit of alizarin. Let's see. I love bringing like just a little bit of color in here. It's like you have to almost imagine that you see it. Sort of build off of it. And dragging these little forms out a little bit further than it seems like they should. Really gives you that sort of layered effect. Maybe a little yellow. This actually looks about like my straw color too. A nice way to put in some grass too. Edges here. I'm gonna mix these up a little bit. A little too cookie cutter. Just mixing these a little bit more. I think I may come in with one more sort of pass on these trees too. Alright. And now for the cabins. Let's see if we can upgrade them a little bit. Okay. So, a little bit more wax. And making this blue. This was pretty nice for this little edge of the roof highlight. Thinner. Put a little white on this side. Really putting that white on is what makes it look like a thick layer of snow, as opposed to just being a white roof. Put a little shadow edge on it on this side too. I mean, it looks puffy now. Maybe just a little more white. Kind of smooth it out. The same treatment over on this one here. This one's tucked in with the trees, so it has a little bit more shade on the roof overall. Still gonna give it that little edge here on the front. Same on the other side. Just this little shadow here.
all these different whites and blues I've mixed. I'm getting a little bit mixed up with them, but I think it's mostly working out. Just put a little bit more snow right up to the base of this one. It just looks like a snowdrift now. Do the same on this one here. Okay. I think we need a couple of windows and doors. Just gonna grab this dark color. I'm gonna give this side of this one a little bit more texture. It's too flat looking right now. Got that look of like old boards. I'm gonna put my windows back on after. Oh, a little railing right here too. Steps, okay. Let's see. I'm going to do a little bit of work to these tree trunks as well. Bring them down just a little bit there. Seem a little too close to that cabin. Bring them a few feet away at least. Those tones just looked a little just scraped off some of it and put the texture back in. I think I'm going to give this one another little break. Come back with just a couple of quick things and call it a day. Yeah, I think it's really close. I just want to let it settle up a little bit more, and then just grab a couple of the last details, But I like it so far. I think it's coming along. It's got that snow feel that I like. All right, see you in a few minutes. And I'm back again. Yeah, I don't have too much left to do on this. I think I'm gonna just bring out a couple of details with the brush and probably call it a day. Let's see. Yeah, mainly what I'm seeing here is that I put in these blue shadows, and then I still want to bring the dark tree trunks out in front of them. I'm actually just going to use a brush for that. I might use that to just neaten up a couple of details around the cabin too, but on the whole, it's pretty close. Yeah, let's try mixing this up. Okay. I haven't used the linseed oil too much lately, but I think for these details, just because I want the paint to flow, I think I like it to be a little bit shiny. So this tone, I'm going to start with a little alizarin and viridian. Shouldn't need very much anyway. That makes kind of a nice dark purple. Add a little bit of phthalo to that too. Just cool it down. Okay. That'll work pretty well. Just grabbing a little bit of linseed oil. A little bit of paint on this brush. Just went in and did one little trunk here. I really liked how the trunks on these trees, like, you could see almost a little cutout where snow drifted up against the tree. Try and create these shapes with some of these brushes. think the other reason that the sort of base of these trees is interesting is because they're sort of growing out of the hill and up. Because this face is so steep. I don't know if that's going to come through, but it's worth a try.
just putting these little trunks in also gives these, doesn't make these trees look too full, because really all the little gestural marks I meant were more to show branches than to show leaves, even though they're kind of orangey colored.
I feel like this, I don't know, I was attracted to this backdrop with the trees because it looked really complicated, and you know, It is, I guess. I think I might leave this one here. It's been an interesting experiment. I don't know. I don't know if I'd attack it this way again in the future, but yeah, I don't know. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever you're off to next.